Hello everyone. This is for the lesson for section 1.4. As you can read, there's going to be two parts for section 1.4, meaning over two different assignments. In this assignment, we're going to practice distributing a negative and also combining like terms. So the first thing here is when you distribute this negative into this parenthesis, it's as if you have a -1 hanging outside that parenthesis. So perhaps this will help you first. If you had this, and you're going to distribute the 2 inside that parenthesis, the 2 is going to multiply to both things. So you'd have 2 times 3x minus 2 times 7. So you'd have 6x minus 14. This is as if you're multiplying a -1 inside the parenthesis. You don't need to write the -1 there, but you can think of it that way if it helps you see it. Otherwise, you're just distributing the negative inside. If you think of it as -1 times -2 oops, let me erase that. I'm getting ahead of myself for not writing what I'm supposed to write. -2.2v minus -1 times 7 is technically what's there. So you have 2.2v, it's a decimal point, minus a -7. And as you know, 2 negatives make a positive. Okay, now that's a little more work than you need to think about it, so let me show you perhaps an abbreviated way to do it. Oops, that's what I was looking for right there. I want the pen back. Okay, you're really distributing the negative. So in the end, what you're doing is changing the signs. This is negative, so it becomes positive. This is minus, so it becomes plus. Okay, I was just being super thorough in the first part. So let me show you again on some other ones. You're distributing the negative here. This is a -10t. It becomes a positive 10t. This is adding, so it becomes subtracting. And as soon as you do that, the parentheses are no longer there, and you have -3. This only applies to this parenthesis. It does not apply to the -3, so that's still there. Similarly, this is sitting out front of distributing this negative inside. This stays put. It doesn't change. This negative distributes through. So this is a positive 4z, so it becomes a -4z. This is a -2.4, so it becomes plus 2.4. And my decimal isn't sitting up very high. It looks like times. I don't know if I can sneak that in there. All right, a little better? Okay. All right, then you're going to get questions that look like this. Find an expression which represents the difference when this whole thing is subtracted from that. This is being subtracted from this. So you have to write 6x plus y subtracting the -8x minus 8y. Because there is no coefficient hanging out in front, well, technically there's a 1, but because there's no action that's happening out here, this parenthesis can really just go away. Now this negative has to distribute through. Both of these things are negative, so they're going to become positive. Okay, negative or subtracting a -8x becomes plus 8x. Subtracting a -8y becomes adding y. Okay. Now you have to combine like terms. 6x and 8x are like terms. It's a positive 6x and a positive 8x, so you have 14x. You have 1y plus 8y is 9y. So this would be your final answer. Okay? Sometimes the questions aren't worded this way as they were up here. Sometimes they just give you it. So this first part, just like before, the coefficient is just a positive 1. There's no action taking place. So you can just write 9x plus 4y. The parentheses can go away. But because there's an action here, you're subtracting that. This negative or this subtraction has to distribute through. You're subtracting 9x, and you're subtracting the 5y. Okay? Now combine like terms. 9x minus 9x, those cancel out. and you have 4y. This symbol applies to that one, so it's this one here. 4y minus 5y is minus 1y. You can either write minus 1y or you can write minus y. Same thing, the coefficient there is a 1. You can either write it or not write it. Okay? Find an expression with represent, so again, they're giving you it in words, and it says a sum of these two things rather than a difference. So a sum really is you're just going to put a plus in between these and then combine like terms. Negative 10x, and you're adding a positive 5x to it. So negative 10x plus a 5x, that's a 10, is negative 5x. 9y minus 2y, you're adding this together. So that's 9y plus a negative 2y. So that's going to give you a positive 7y. And that would be your answer. Okay? If it says write in simplest terms and you're looking like this, you're just adding these things together. Again, there would be a coefficient of negative 1 there. You don't have to write the 1. I just want to be clear that that's a 1. It's a negative 1x plus a negative 10x. That makes negative 11x. 8y plus a negative 6y. 8y plus a negative 6y. This plus is coming from right here. All right? 8y, really, it's 8y minus 6y is really what you're looking at. Adding a negative is just subtracting. So that would be a positive 2y. So that would be your final answer. Okay, if you have questions, be sure and ask. I'd love to help you.